Yuan Celestial. Xiefeng. July 3rd, 2007. First of all, we can only rely on Life of Chanuan values. Personal relationship is undependable. Even Xue Feng and any one of Chanyuan Celestials are undependable. Only through Life of Chanuan value can it be possible for Chanyuan Celestials to live a happy life. Any intention to rely on somebody would lead to final desperation. So, everyone's behaviors must be based on laws and disregard of people. Must be based on Life of Chanuan value, not on Xue Feng. We can reach our destination as long as Life of Chanuan value exists, no matter what happens to Xue Feng. So, we must live with people who can resonate with the Life of Chanuan value. Even if there are only 3 or 4 people who have mutual resonance in mind, they can live a happy life if they obey Life of Chanuan value. Any ignorance of Life of Chanuan value would incur troubles immediately. Personal promise is not something everlasting. They may turn hostile suddenly. Then, how to illustrate Life of Chanuan value on the topic of living style. Never fight against the government. Never participate in any activity disobedient to the government. Never fight against any powerful people in any field. Never fight against the boss of the company. Be reserved, not display gallantry in front of people. Remember that we are the humblest celestials. We are the weakest men, and we are the most useless people in the world. Learn from the saints with virtue. Follow the examples of the perfect men in history. Never play tricks or fish in troubled water, but be frank, forthright, honest, and sincere. Never steal, rob, deceive, cheat, or defraud others even if at the edge of starving to death. Never pick up the money on the ground which do not belong to you. It is only that people do not take any articles left by the wayside will it be possible for doors are not bolted at night. Coveting the nourishing from domestic animal will make nature lose. Profiting at other people's expense will not get sufficient treatment from Tao. Your intentions should not offend heaven, earth, and others. No hatred should exist in heart, even you died of being wronged. The reason for such doing is for acquiring a peaceful mind and the natural greatness of the soul, rather than for a good reputation. Be sure to keep in mind that do not commit sins if you do not want to be punished. Have a clear consciousness. Do not go astray. Gradually reducing secular contacts and get in touch with celestial beings. Be diligent in works. Be penitent every day. Not wasting time in beer and skittles. Not showing off yourself. It is better to make people forget your existence. Try to be early in clearing of the secular debts and not to have new secular relationship, but strive for getting to know more celestial beings. The journey in this world for us is to cut out any connection in the mortal world and make forward for the celestial archipelago for our forever enjoyment. Conceive Life of Chanuan as the 1,000-year world, as if nobody existing in the world except Chanyuan Celestials, and nothing is our business except Chanyuan Celestials. There is no marriage and no mutual possession for Chanyuan Celestials. They may have sex freely, because it is the real situation in the 1,000-year world, but remember that all behavior should be natural and be based on real emotion instead of any plot. Keep in mind that indulging in hobbies sap one's will. Indulging in tricks sap one's morality. Strive for the construction of home without marriage and family, and rest all our hopes on the greatest creator, self-improvement and self-refinement. Home without marriage and family would guarantee our survival and solution of our personal problems such as birth, death, illness, and old age. Come to home without marriage and family if being abandoned by society and secular family, being in desperation or disease, getting bankrupt, being hit by a disaster, being old, lonely. Come to home without marriage and family for the enjoyment of beautiful and free life. In short, if you want, you come, but there is a precondition here. You must be willing to give anything you have for the benefit of our brothers and sisters and lovers here, even at the cost of our own life. You must be willing to share what you have. At least you will not permit a single Chanyuan Celestial staying hungry. You must be willing to go all out for saving any Chanyuan Celestial from his or her troubles. And there is still one more question for our consideration, which is, anytime you are enjoying all of these, we should ask ourselves first, what have I done for the construction of Life of Chanuan and home without marriage and family? What have I devoted? We must be very clear that the boys and girls of Life Echanuan are not stupid at all. No insincere action or manner whatsoever is permit to return their honesty and kindness. Follow the way of the greatest creator and no ganging up and nodding group. No making alliance for offense and defense. And be brave enough to bring everything we have into the open, being dignified and frank. We must be conscious that anyone might turn hostile suddenly, and everything can be a reason for being blackmailed. Therefore, everything between two people, even a letter, should be able to stand the test in public. In the home, all behavior should be based on common value rather than personal relationship. Otherwise, anyone's criminal action might involve other guy, which is the so-called a single slip may cause lasting sorrow. Any gangs or groups will bury yourself for others' wrongdoing or evil when the situation becomes critical. Be sure to bear in mind that without a guilty conscience, without misgivings, set yourself to a higher standard, do the best what you can, have an ordinary life. You may earn much money, but cannot be pleasure-seeking. Be possible to take vegetables and corn flour as the ordinary food, or even in vegetarian diet instead of reveling in dainties. Lead a simple yet honest life, rather than luxurious and extravagant one. The principles of living standard be practical, no extravagance, no waste, and no showing off. It is absolutely unnecessary to be luxury in daily use. Think the hard work of growing of rice and of grain. Whenever you dine, remember how silk is obtained which keeps you warm and looks fine. Of course, it is also unnecessary to be as austere as a Puritan. You should enjoy life when it is time to enjoy. Anyone who gets in a home without marriage and family and who loves baby may expect his her own baby, but the baby will be educated without the concept of father, and it is forbidden to make him, her known who is her father is. The baby will be raised by home without marriage and family after being weaned. The baby will be educated to respect all of his her elders and regard all the male superiors as is her father and all the female superiors as is her mother. Every superior must take the babies here as is her own, loving them and taking care of them. The Chanyuan Celestials at old age will be supported by all of the Chanyuan Celestials, and Life Echanuan will designate for their specific nursing to the last moment of their mortal life. Each person will be designated for his favorite work. For example, those who love cleaning do cleaning job, those who love cooking do cooking job, those who love gardening do gardening job, and those who love making things do their makings. There is no superior job or inferior job here, and there is no difference in the number of jobs. Every people must show the human's essence of truth, goodness, and beauty for providing the best services. No matter how much you contribute, the principle in home without marriage and family is non-possession ownership. The distribution will be made according to everybody's specific needs, and nobody would be possible to own anything except the life. If you want to be a manager, you must live the worst room and take the worst food. This is the so-called to be the first to bear hardships and the last to enjoy comforts. By this way, there will be no fight for power any longer. The above 8 items are the living style of Chanyuan Celestials. Seen from the secular point of view, this can be called Arabian Nights or foolish ideas. But for those who have understood the meaning and value of Life Echanuan, they know that it is the best way to approach the high-level space of life. You may be the beneficiary of these upon reflection or perception about 禅院草应具备的心理素质, the psychological qualities to be Chanyuan Celestial. Xiefeng. August 28, 2009. During the Three Kingdoms time, an important defensive place was lost because of Zhuge Liang's subordinate General Ma Su's disobedience. Sima Yi, who was the general of Wei, led his troop moving towards Xiqing where Zhuge is stationed. Comparing with Sima Yi's 150,000 soldiers, Zhuge Liang had only the civil officials and the 2,500 of soldiers. His officers were all frightened at the news of approaching of the enemy. But Zhuge Liang, on the contrary, donned the simple Taoist dress and, attended by a couple of lads, sat down on the wall by one of the towers with his lute before him and a stick of incense burning. His face was with all smiles as he played the lute. This is the famous story of Empty Town Bluff. Zhuge Liang showed outstanding psychological quality in the face of crumbling under attacks. When he and his men hovered between life and death, he could remain serene and control and even amuse himself by playing the lute rhythmically. In the chapter of In a Plum Garden, Cao Cao discusses heroes. Cao Cao pointed his finger first at Liu Bei and then at himself, saying, "The only heroes in the world are you and me," which shocked Liu Bei so great that the spoon and chopsticks rattled to the floor. Although Liu Bei stooped down to recover the fallen articles and said, "What a thunder!" And it was quite close. In order to covering his shock, he still exposed his inadequate psychological quality. On the later chapters, Liu Bei ignored the whole situation of his country and attached too much importance to brotherhood for revenging Guan Yu, which led to the result of his camps extending 700 li being burnt out by Lu Sun, a general of East Wu. His failure is also caused by his inadequate psychological quality. The outstanding general of East Wu, Zhou Yu, was irate to death at the age of 36, which was also a result of bad psychological quality. In the end, he sighed, "O God, since thou made Zhou Yu, why did thou also create Zhuge Liang?" It is a good illustration of his psychological quality inferior to that of Zhuge Liang. Totally different with Zhou Yu, Sima Yi accepted the skirt given by Zhuge Liang kindly and wore it at once, intending to irritate Zhuge Liang, which also showed Sima Yi's outstanding psychological quality here. What is psychological quality? It is a comprehensive reflection of the temperament, character, thinking, emotion, IQ, tolerance, and faith of a person, and the embodiment of that person's connotation. A man of excellent psychological quality is confident, generous, strong, stable, energetic, optimistic, tolerable, magnanimous, and calm, etc., while a man of bad psychological quality is self-abasement, bigoted, testiness, pessimistic, negative, narrow, and flurried. Chanyuan Celestials are the most civilized, most cultivated, most intelligent, most active and creative, strongest people with spiritual nature in the world. They are common, but above the common of the ordinary sense, and free-form vulgarity. Therefore, each Chanyuan Celestial should have the following psychological qualities. Remain calm in the face of danger and death. Chanyuan Celestial's hand is her life to the greatest creator and is her lifetime to the Tao. They can remain serene and in control in the face of danger and death. Never retreat and feel discouraged in the face of extremely difficulties and hardships. As long as they breathe, as long as there is 1 out of 10,000's hope, they'll not give up, not let any chance of survival slip away. In front of the long journey, they will overcome all obstacles and difficulties with indomitable spirit. They will not step back. Even if they would die, they died on the journey for the destination. They will never stop short of goal. Many people around may ridicule, satirize, speak ironically, slander, insult, and attack them or create difficulties. It doesn't matter, they would sit tight in the fishing boat despite the rising wind and waves, and stick to it and never give up. They stand steadfastly on the ground. In front of desperate situation, they will laugh in the wind. When they are struggling alone, we will show their heroic spirit all the same. When it comes to the complicated and bewildered situation, they will keep relaxed, steady, and active instead of changing our opinions or following other people blindly. They'll lighten the magic lamp in their heart for walking out of the path of error and creating an ideal future in extraordinary courage and style. When it comes to the unreasonably troublesome or importunate situation, they will be open and clear, active and flexible, witty and tactful, so as to prevent contradictions from intensifying and try to be humor, funny, or to pretend to be foolish for getting rid of drudgery, rather than getting us more deeply entangled in it. In front of frustration, they will never feel inferior or stop their marching process. They believe that as long as they have firm faith in their heart, as long as they make unremitting endeavor, when God closes a door, somewhere he opens a window, and there will be another sunrise every morning. It is just like some famous Chinese saying, where hills bend, streams wind, and the pathway seems to end, past dark willows and flowers in bloom lies another village. Or, when it is dark in the east, it is light in the east. When things are dark in the south, there is still light in the north. They would impress the world someday. And in this, I firmly believe. What are listed above are the 8 attainments to be a Chanyuan celestial. As long as they have these attainments, no such a flame mountain that is impassable, no such a difficulty is insurmountable. As long as they have these attainments and integrated personality, they'll have a bright future, and they will approach the celestial world smoothly. 禅院草之间互不相欠. No debts between Chanyu and Celestial. Xiefeng, August 16th, 2007. The big love means no love. The big morality means no moral. Life of Chanyuan is not the secular society, and Chanyuan Celestial will never be in debt among each other. I, Xue Feng, create life of Chanyuan and come to the mortal world to find life for heaven. This is my mission, my duty, and my natural instincts. I do all these for myself to achieve the Buddhism of celestial beings, and I am willing to pay for it, so all Chanyuan Celestials don't owe me anything. If I invite you for a dinner, 100 dinners or billions of dinners, it is my own pleasure, and I have got my reward in the process of eating dinner. As a result, you do not owe me anything. If any Chanyuan Celestials obtain enlightenment, inspiration, physical strength, or happiness, it belongs to your own merits and virtues, your own destiny. You deserve all these. All merit should belong to Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, the greatest creator in yourself. I do not have any merits or virtues. So Chanyuan Celestial does not owe me anything and should not be grateful to me. I love playing, so there is full of talking and smiling in the homeland. I am happy because everyone is happy. This happiness is created by everyone and is the reveal of the true sentiments of everyone. So I should never be considered as the one that brings this happiness. In one word, no matter in the past, present, or future, all Chanyuan Celestials do not owe me anything. Similarly, I do not owe anything to any Chanyuan Celestials. Your contribution in homeland means to accumulate treasures in heaven, which belongs to your own life track and is out of your own willing. The words and actions of each person are all for your self-accomplishment. So all Chanyuan Celestials do not owe anything to each other. The mutual helps of Chanyuan Celestial, no matter in mental or physical, are out of mutual affection, destiny, and out of their own will. Among all Chanyuan Celestial, they do not owe anything to each other. What we carrying on will change with our destinies and move according to one's temperament, and there is not any rights or obligation among us. If you are willing, we can move on together, otherwise we choose our own way. When we get together, we will care, praise, and encourage each other to share the happy times. However, we will not worry about each other, nor owe to each other anything when we say goodbye to each other. Do not always expect returns for what has been done. Everything operates in the scope of Tao, and the greatest creator will make the fair judgment on everything. God's mill grinds slow but sure, and we believe, as a man sows, so he shall reap. At last, everything will be judged fairly. Here, everything is free from vulgarity. Everything should not be measured by the worldly value system, just like one of the passionate lovers who complains, "You have delayed my youth, and you have to pay for it." After they've broken up, or like the man and woman who have one night stand want to get tied down the other side. Here, all loss and gains are realized during the process, and everything is out of our own willingness. Nothing is owed to each other. In order to climb the summit of human life and life, we come to life of Chanyuan. The relationship among various Chanyuan Celestials is not to form a clique to pursue selfish interests, neither to form some political party to fight for some rights or interests, but to fall in a company with each other. Everyone has one's own willing and freedom and should be responsible for oneself. We will not pay you the youth loss cost when someday you are not happy and begin to hate us deceiving you. We are not the interest usurpers or contenders, but the people who resonate with each other in the same frequency. So everyone should not defend other Chanyuan Celestials for a justice, not make an assessment on other Chanyuan Celestials, not be on behalf of other Chanyuan Celestial to fight for name, or not manage the things of other Chanyuan Celestials which should not be managed, but should just focus on one's own self-refining and self-improving. All Chanyuan Celestials are independent and free, and not anyone has the right or qualification to restrict other Chanyuan Celestials. Chanyuan Celestials should not establish the difficultly sustained personal relationship or restrict each other with love or emotion. In one word, we have to remember, no matter how much merits or contribution you have made for life of Chanyuan, All Chan Yuan celestials do not owe each other anything, and everything we do is out of our own willingness. 宁愿饿死也不虚信于人. Rather die than swallow one's words. Xiefeng, November 24th, 2009. Life of Chanyuan is built on the basis of faith, which is the belief in the greatest creator, Taoism, Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, celestial Lao Tzu, Muhammad the Prophet, the acceptance of matter of truth, science, logic, telegnosis, causality, and also the belief of a bright future of mankind. This is the connotation of the belief of Life of Chanyuan, and its denotation is that Life of Chanyuan would never ever break its word to society and people. We will keep our promises. If someone is disqualified as the Chanyuan Celestial and his or her name as Chanyuan Celestial is cancelled, his or her dedication to Life of Chanyuan would be returned in full except for 2,000 yuan service fee. We would rather die than swallow one's words. Why shall we take out 2,000 yuan as service fee? Because Chanyuan Celestial enjoys services provided by Life of Chanyuan, and it's natural to dedicate once you have enjoyed. Reaping without sowing equals to exploitation, and it violates the law of justice and fairness. Life of Chanyuan is home to all Chanyuan Celestials. We would like to make every Chanyuan Celestial to know that our home is not only reliable and trustworthy, but also brings security to everyone. Appropriate compensation must be returned to Chanyuan Celestial once he or she makes dedication to Life of Chanyuan. Dedication to Life of Chanyuan somehow resembles bank deposit. It always belongs to the Chanyuan Celestial who deposits it in person rather than someone else. He or she can take back the dedication anytime in accordance with his or her will. Except for the deduction of service fee, Life of Chanyuan would make every effort to return the dedication in full number. Life of Chanyuan will always keep promises and will never bear any burden of incredibility, both spiritually and mentally. Without faith, man cannot live in contentment, let alone be trusted and relied on by others. Man who is without faith cannot be called a pure man. We can only regard it as a soul. Although others can be faithless and they can go back their words, Life of Chanyuan as well as Chanyuan Celestial must be faithful and trustworthy. We mean what we say. Be factual, realistic, dignified, imposing, honest, and open-hearted, all of which are virtues of Chanyuan Celestial. Only when we are faithful and credible can we obtain these virtues. Heaven is home to faithful and trustworthy people, while faithless people are doomed to go to hell. We are destined to have a bright future so long as we keep our promises and be faithful. Rather die than swallow one's words is one of the Life of Chanyuan values. 物尽其用其妙其长. Make the best use of everything. Xiefeng. May 5th, 2010. All things have the applicable, wonderful, and strong point. Make the full use of it, and there would be no waste. Shits, animals' excrements, are a fine fertilizer which will promote the growth of plant if being applied in the land. We should make the best use of everything, or it will be a waste or a profane or irreverence. Everything has its unique function, and there is no waste in nature. Even feces, dung beetles, or the falling leaves in autumn have their use too. It will be a satisfactory and equal state for the full use of everything. As far as the human body is concerned, each organ has its specific function. While the eyes, nose, mouth, ears, hands, and feet should be in full use, the brain, sex organs, entrails should be in full use too. Only in this way can we live up to the will of the greatest creation. It should be making the best use of everything, or grievances will arise and the nature will be repressed. The strength of horse is running, so let it run. The strength of cow is giving milk, so let it give milk. The strength of honeybees is pollinating a variety of plants and making honey, so let them pollinate and make honey. As to human beings, some are good at singing or dancing, so let them sing or dance. Some people are good at growing vegetables, some are good at nursing, some are good at studying, some have an aptitude for theory, and some have an aptitude for practice, so provide them opportunities for maximizing their strengths. We should make the best use of everything, or it will be a destruction or contempt. The aircraft flying in the sky, the car running on the ground, the ship sailing in the water, they all have their own strengths, The African enjoys a good physical quality. The Western enjoys a good scientific and technological quality. The Asian enjoys a good quality in thinking. They all have their own strengths too. Beans are high in protein. Vegetables are high in vitamin. Fats and oils are high in fat. They all have their own strengths too. Everything has its merits, and what should be used is to put their merits into full use. Of course, there is nothing improper for growing flowers with wash bowls, plowing with horse, or taking the pen as chopstick, but their merit is wasted and it is a distortion of nature. As to human society, everybody's ability should be brought into full play as much as possible. If those who engage in literature turn to scientific study, those who engage in music turn to acrobatics, and those who do farming work turn to business, it will be a great waste of manpower and also a great distortion and suppression of nature. We should make the best of everything, including the best use of human potentials. In this way, the waste will be minimized and the strength will be maximized. If someone lives powerless and accomplish nothing, the real reason is not that the man has not got a gift, but that the man's nature was not brought into full play, or people did not make the best use of his talents, or people use his talents in a wrong place